Hey guys, welcome to episode 33 of the Road to 120 Slayer series. If you guys don't remember, last episode we completed various Slayer tasks on double XP and managed to get below 4 million XP to go. I actually got a few more of these Slayer skill dummies, so I'm going through those right now, but we will be getting back into some more Slayer tasks, and I will be finishing the Road to 120 Slayer this episode. We are going to be getting that 4 million XP on double XP, and it shouldn't take too long. Anyway guys, I really hope you do enjoy the last episode of the series. And so starting off with our first task of this episode, we end up getting 209 corrupted creatures. Again, this is a task that I love doing. We're going to corrupted workers, and you get some really good XP from this task as well as some good GP. So it definitely is one of my favorite tasks to do. Super glad I got this task. As you can see, I also did complete my daily challenge for Slayer, so that's another about 60k Slayer XP as well. And so moving on to the loot from this task, we end up getting 2 keys to the crossing, so that's about 1.2 mil right there. Again, keys to the crossing are priced really high right now, so I really am happy getting these tasks. In the treasure chest, we end up getting about 1.5 mil, so overall we got about 2.8 mil from this task, and it was really fast. Also got 273,000 Slayer XP. So again, this task is always super great, and I just love getting corrupted creature tasks. Now moving on to our next task, I got a demon cluster task. I went to Krill this time, and we actually managed to get a drop. As you can see, we got a Garb of Subjugation, and surprisingly, this is actually worth about 5 mil. So that is a really good drop right there. Basically made the task worth it for sure, just by getting that one drop. And the XP from this is usually pretty decent as well. And so looking at the loot from this trip of Krill, it was actually pretty good, nearly 6.5 mil, and we got that 5 mil Garb drop. So even without that, you make 1.5 mil from this task, which is really good. And we also got about 150,000 Slayer XP, so pretty good task right here. Really can't complain about that. Now, the next task we managed to get was 193 Soul Devourers. Again, this is another really good task. Just both the Soul Devourers and corrupted creatures are really great to get. As you can see, I am using my Masterwork Armor with my Scythe, and then I am using Protect from Melee. I really think you do need to use Protect from Melee for this task. And then also use your Enhanced Devotion. That will save you a little bit of health, and I really do recommend doing that. And you really don't need to use a Vampirism Scrimshaw doing this, which is really nice because I like saving that because it is pretty costly when you are using it. And so anyway, looking at the loot from this task, we got 2 keys to the crossing. So again, 1.2, 1.3 mil right there, which is pretty decent just for the keys. Now in the treasure chest, we managed to get some pretty decent loot as well. We got 2.3 mil, which is a lot higher than normal. We got a lot of the Vital Sparks, as you can see, 13 of them there. So this was a really profitable task, about 3.5 mil from this task, which is really great. Also got 194,000 Slayer XP, so that is pretty good for the task as well. Now the next task I got was 157 Nightmares, and Nightmares is a creature that I only recently unlocked, and it really is an excellent task. You get a ton of Slayer XP from these creatures, and the GP is insane as well. Now, the only thing I did notice from the Nightmares is that they do hit really hard, especially if you get 2 or 3 of them on you at a time. You need to use Deflect Missiles because their special attack is a ranged base attack. So essentially you will be protecting yourself from that attack, but they do attack in melee, so you'll be taking a lot of damage. And that was really the problem with this. I did find I actually did use all the food in my pack yak a few times, so I did have to come back and bank, which was a bit annoying, but definitely makes up for it considering the loot and the XP you get from this task. As you can see, we made 4.1 mil from this task, and the XP is nearly 500,000, so that is really insane, and it definitely makes this task worth it. I also did complete this task in about 40 minutes, so it was a little bit on the long side. However, again, the GP and XP, they really do make up for it. And so moving on to our next Slayer task, we got 152 Elves. This is one of my favorite tasks as well. Haven't got this task in a while either. So Elves, they're really AFK and you get a lot of money from them. The XP is sort of decent, but it definitely is a great task since it's kind of AFK and pretty fast as well. And they're pretty safe. I mean, you just use your aggression potions. You do need to watch out every once in a while if you get too many on you, because they can deal a lot of damage, but overall, there really isn't too much difficulty with this task at all. And so as you can see, we made 2.1 mil from this task and 185,000 Slayer XP. As you can see, most of the money did come from the coin and alchemy drops. We got 1.2 million coins right here. And then the rest of the drops are all notable, so that is why this is a really great task, since it is a pretty AFK task, and the drops are either alchemy or noted. So moving on to our next task, we got 90 dinosaurs, and we are headed to the venomous dinosaurs again. I really did consider going to the brutish dinosaurs just because the XP there is insane, especially on double XP. However, it just takes too long to kill those dinosaurs, so we're just going to be doing the venomous dinosaurs for now because they're pretty fast and still pretty decent XP as well. The task only took about 20 to 25 minutes to complete, and we got 2.2 mil in cash, so that's pretty decent there. 240,000 Slayer XP, so not too bad in about 20 minutes of work. As you can see, we are just under 1 million Slayer XP until 120 Slayer now, so we are getting really close. Our next task was also a Soul Devourer task, so we're going to be completing this one pretty fast as well. And as I said, I always do love getting these tasks. We're going to stack up on some more keys to the crossing for the final loot tab. And really, I can't wait to look at that final loot tab when I do get all of the loot in. And so we managed to get 2 more keys to the crossing to add to the loot tab. About 1.3 mil just from these 2 keys, so that's pretty good right there. I believe we have over like 120 now in the loot tab, so that's really nice. As for the treasure chest, we got about 1.4 mil. And also the Slayer XP, about 168,000 Slayer XP. So we're only about 800,000 Slayer XP until 120 now. Now our next task was a Crystal Shapeshifter task. This is an excellent task, especially if you do have Crystal Shapeshifters in your player-owned Slayer dungeon. The XP per hour is actually really high, especially on double XP, of course. I'm going to get around 300,000 XP just from this task. And then the GP is usually around 2.5 mil for a task, so it's not too bad either. It is pretty AFK, however, you do need to pay attention for sure. They do deal quite a bit of damage, and I do recommend using a Vampirism Scrimshaw as well as a Vampirism Aura. That way it will make this task a lot more AFK-able, and you won't need to worry about your health as much. But I definitely do need to eat a lot of food when I am here, just because they do deal so much damage. As you can see, looking at the loot from this task, we got about 1.7 mil, but we also got over 300 of the Tardian crystals, which is an untradeable drop for now, but you can trade it in for some crystal gear. Basically, the Tardian crystals are listed at about 3k each, so that's nearly 1 mil right there, just in the Tardian crystals, so about 2.7 mil from the task. Also 310,000 Slayer XP, so again, this is an excellent task for the Slayer XP. And now moving on to our next task, we got a Soul Devourer task. So we're going to be killing 198 of these. Again, it's actually our 3rd Soul Devourer task of the episode. As you can see, we're super close to 120 Slayer. We only need about 320,000 Slayer XP to go. So we're getting super close, and probably only one more task after this one. And so looking at the loot from this task, we end up getting 3 keys to the crossing, so nearly 2 mil. Just off the keys to the crossing, got pretty lucky there, and pretty nice since we got a few more keys right before we are about to hit 120 Slayer. As for the treasure chest, we ended up getting nearly 1.6 mil from this loot, also about 200,000 Slayer XP, so overall an excellent task. Made about 3.6 mil, 3.5 mil from this task, so that is really great. Now, after this task, we are now down to 118,000 Slayer XP to go until 120 Slayer. So this Crystal Shapeshifters task is going to be our last task of the series of the road to 120 Slayer. So again, we are headed back to the player-owned Slayer dungeon, and it is a countdown to 120 Slayer, and we're not even halfway through this task, so we won't need too many kills to get through it. And here we go, we are 1 kill away from 120 Slayer, and there it is, 120 Slayer. The series is complete. After over 1 year of doing this series and 33 episodes, we have finally maxed out our Slayer skill at 120. Now it's time to go get that beautiful cape. I also got a ton of congratulatory messages from my clanmates and some friends. So again, shout out to all of you guys for supporting me in this series, and all of you viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for watching this long series, 33 episodes, and I've finally completed it. It has been a really long journey, and it has been a ton of fun. I think the most exciting thing I like about this is keeping track of the loot tab, so that is going to be what I'm going to be doing in the last part of this episode. And I probably will be making a separate video later on as well, just showcasing more in-depth information about the loot from 120 Slayer. And so anyway, now we got the Slayer cape. Look at that, it just looks fantastic. It's actually my favorite cape in the game for sure. It's one I've always wanted and took me over a year to get, so I really do love this cape and probably will use a keepsake key on it. The Master Slayer cape also gives you about a 20% chance to pick your own Slayer task, so that is going to be super useful when doing a future series. I'll be able to pick some Dragon Slayer tasks. I'm going to do ED2 or whatever, so that is going to be a really useful perk. Now also, I did actually finish the last Crystal Shapeshifters task, and if you guys were curious into the loot, we made about 1.7 mil from that, nearly 300 Tardian crystals again, and about 340,000 Slayer XP for that task. Now looking at the total loot tab before I go and break down each item, this episode we made about 33 million, so the estimated loot tab is priced at about 1.26 billion. Now, in the last part of this episode, I will be price checking each of these items individually, so I will actually get an updated price check since the prices have changed since all of the episodes that I've obtained them in. So it's going to be interesting to see if that went up or down. Also on the series, we made about 2.5 mil Slayer XP this episode. That's because I didn't count the bonus XP as well as the daily challenges and things like that. So in total, on the series, we made bit over 50 million Slayer XP, which is really, really good. So now I'm just going to go ahead and collect all of the loot. I had a little bit of alchemables and the alch machine, as well as my elite dungeon chest. It is completely full with about 75 million of loot. That is basically just from my Dragon Slayer tasks that I have obtained throughout this series. And so now we're going to be moving on to the price check. So I am going to be price checking each item that I have in my Slayer loot tab, as well as my 290 million cash stack that I got from just Slayer. As you can see, the first inventory, it's priced at 395 million. Most of the money coming just from the cash stack, which includes all of my coin drops, alchemable drops, as well as a few rare drops. Now the second inventory is a lot lower. We made about 42 million from this inventory. Basically just contains a lot of dragon items, some logs, and various other materials that I did get from Slayer. We also got about 3.6 thousand Tardian crystals, which are untradeable, but they are worth about 10.7 mil once I do trade them in. Now the third inventory, this one is worth 88 mil. We got a few raw materials as well as all my stone spirits. Got a few potions and some things like that. Also got some seeds in here as well. So overall, that one's a pretty good price check at 88 million. And inventory number 4 is about 73 million almost. So again, got some more raw materials as well as the rest of my seeds. And then we also got the Royal Dragon Hide and the Black Dragon Hide hidden here as well, which is priced at quite a bit. Now moving on to our next inventory, this one is worth nearly 56 million. Just some more random items, a lot of sort of arrows and bolt tips, things like that. Just some random items here. As you can see, the onyx bolt tips, that's probably the highest priced item in this at about 14.4 million. So another pretty good inventory there. Now the following inventory is also really great. This one's priced really high at 257 million. Most of the money coming from the Vital Sparks as well as my keys to the crossing. They're in this inventory as well. Just got some other random drops. Elder Energy priced at 3 mil. Got some Ascension keys and all my bones. My bones are worth a lot. I got Wyvern bones, 22 mil there, 23 mil in Dinosaur bones. Even the Searing Ashes, 34 mil there. Draconic Energy is in this loot as well, and that's priced at a little bit over 22 mil. So overall, really good price check from this inventory. Now moving on to this final inventory and this final price check. This one is the most exciting. It includes all of my unique and rare drops that I have obtained throughout the series. So as you can imagine, it is going to be priced pretty high. As you can see, 397 million. We got Laceration boots, 2 Blast Diffusion boots, which are 76 mil right now. I definitely got them when they were 100 mil, I believe, so those went down quite a bit. But 2 Cinderbane gloves, those were about 30 mil when I got them, I believe, so those went up. We also got a bunch of other random drops, 6 Draconic Visages, which is pretty interesting. Aside from this, we got a Codex from ED2, we got a Zeros Crest from Vindicta. So those are all the other pretty high priced items. As you can see, we also got 2 spider leg pieces, so these are untradeable, valued at about 80 mil for the 2 pieces. And so looking at the total loot from my loot tab, the tradable items, it's a little bit over 1.3 billion, so it's a bit higher than I estimated. I estimated 1.265 billion, so it is about 35 million higher than I expected. And I did include the Tardian crystals in that estimate. However, I didn't include the spider leg. So with the Tardian crystals and the spider leg, that's another 94 million for the total loot being about 1.4 billion for 120 Slayer. Now this was just a quick little breakdown. I am going to be selling the items and we'll see if they do sell for the Grand Exchange price. And I will be including that in my loot from 120 Slayer video that I will be working on. I'm also going to include a lot more breakdown in that video, such as the number of tasks that I did complete, as well as all of the specific tasks that I completed and an estimate of the time it took for 120 Slayer. But overall, this was an excellent journey. I enjoyed this so much, and I really hope all of you guys did as well. It was a ton of fun making each and every episode, and Slayer, it is my favorite skill in the game, so that is why I wanted to make a series revolving basically all around Slayer. And I really hope you guys did find it enjoyable. I'm really happy that I was able to complete this series because, again, it took me over a year. There definitely was times where I wasn't really motivated to do Slayer, but I kept with it slowly but surely, and I ended up getting 120 Slayer, which really is a lifelong goal. Now, even though this series is complete, I do have a lot of really great ideas for the future and for some future series, including some bossing and more PVM type series. So definitely stay tuned for that. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you want to see me continue this series somewhat with a Road to 200 Mil Slayer series. I'm not really sure if I would like to do that right now, but it is something I would consider doing since I do love Slayer that much. So let me know in the comments down below what you would like to see next for me in terms of series. And if you want to see a 200 Mil Slayer series as well, I think that would be pretty interesting. And I'd just like to know what you guys think of that idea. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching and supporting this year-long journey. And I hope to all see you in the next one. Peace.